Yes, it is your money. Yes, it is your retirement. Yes, it is your life. Your money, your retirement, your life. Get it right for you so you can have peace of mind, comfort, and confidence in retirement so you can do the things you need and want to do in retirement. It happens, meaning it happens that you get peace of mind, comfort, and confidence when you first embrace the sentiment that it is your money, it is your retirement, and it is your life. And then, secondly, importantly, after embracing the sentiment, you take good and smart and wise action so that you do get it right for you. Yes, yes, and yes. How do you argue with that? Well, I'm not trying to be right just to be right. I'm not trying to be Drew Pelton, Retirement Income Source radio show right to be right. It's the truth. It's fundamentally sound, this sentiment. Why do I repetitively say this? Because I believe from my observation in my many years of being in this retirement investment business that one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem that people have first is that they do not embrace the sentiment of, wait a minute, I'm going to do it a little different. Wait a minute, this is my money, this is my retirement, and this is my life, and I need to get it right for me, meaning what? That you don't just sit back and think you're okay. Because if you would believe me, I hope you do. Because some people struggle with the lack of truth. Some people struggle with lying. Some people have certain things that are addictive behaviors. Well, I want to tell you one thing I don't struggle with. I don't struggle with the truth. I thank my parents that I can tell the truth. I know the truth. I don't like fluff. I don't like deception. I don't like misleading. I don't like happy talk that's not about substance. I mean, be happy, but people that do happy talk and fluff talk, and there's no often deep meaning behind it. And so I'm telling you the truth here that in my observation over many years, thousands of people I have talked to over the years, thousands of financial statements I have seen. The biggest problem that I see why people don't get it right for them is they don't embrace this sentiment that it is your money, it is your retirement, it is your life, where you actually say, it's my money, it's my retirement, it's my life, I've got to get it right for me, I have to make the right decisions, I've got to do the right things. You are listening to the Retirement Income Source. I'm your host, Drew Pelton, and I'm with you every weekend, and I do my best that there are no repeat shows. Sometimes it happens when we get busy and I don't record a new show, but I do my best to give you a new, fresh show. So I can assure you this one has never been done before. Now, some of you listening in may be saying, well, Drew, I've heard you say this before. So then I would say this very quickly. Are you truly embracing the fact that it's your money, your retirement, your life? Number one. And number two, are you taking action to assure that you really have it together? One of the biggest things that I see that people get wrong is that whether it's just they think they're good, they think they're right, or maybe they're afraid to see if they're right, that too many people I find do this. I'm okay, I'll be all right, everything's fine, my guy's a good guy, my gal's a good gal. Who's the guy and the gal? The advisor. Good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good gal. I like them. We're friends. We've known each other. Okay, I like that. I know that our clients say those things. I hope they say we're good guys and good gals. I believe they do. If I may, we had a couple calls this past week with people calling back and saying thank you and we appreciate you and the staff, et cetera. Well, I want to say to those that do that and say that we are always appreciative because we not only aim to please, but we aim to make sure that you are going to get the best with your money, your retirement, and your life. This is serious business. And some of you might be thinking, Drew, well, just get on with it. Well, what is it? Okay, well, let me tell you right away. It's about investing for income with a fiduciary firm that has the universe of choices, that truly acts like a fiduciary, which means what? That the plans, and 84% of people do not have a formal retirement plan, but those that are doing what they need to do, then when they are working towards getting it right, they embrace this sentiment. It's their retirement, their life, and their money, as I'm saying. But what they do is they actually take action and they get the plan right for them when working with a true fiduciary firm that's customizing, tailoring the strategy, the approaches to that investor rather than what? There's too much cookie cutter stuff, too much cookie cutter investing. There's too much cookie cutter, well, everybody else is doing it, so I'm okay. There's too much, well, I'm with a big name company, so therefore I must be okay. We have the experience, we have the know-how, we have the understanding by way of the planning strategies for required minimum distributions, tax planning just generally. How do you reduce taxes? How do you avoid taxes? How do you do rollovers efficiently and effectively? How do you save monies when you're taking out your required minimum distributions, such as using qualified charitable distributions? When and how and why should you do Roth conversions? What's the best way to do it? Are you aware of what the tax consequences are not? Are you doing estate planning? Are you integrating your Social Security planning with your overall plan? So back to 84% of Americans do not have a formal retirement plan. So you may be invested, but are you truly working in a way where two things, your planning and strategies are good and right, and two, your investments are truly good and right to help you achieve your goals and objectives? I can tell you that I see too little effectiveness and efficiency for getting these goals and objectives taken care of. So this is a long introduction that's somewhat between positive about you have to get your money right for you, etc. But it's also going to be exposing some things today, and that's what I'm about to do right now. And I'm calling today's show Salesmanship and Incompetency because too many people, I find, are working with a salesman, could be a saleswoman, okay, that effectively when they're doing salesmanship, and they are selling a something, whether it is a mutual fund type of a product or a strategy, or whether it's an annuity. Salesmanship, selling sizzle, is normally consistent with, or it comes often with the incompetency that people have, meaning not the investors so much, because I would understand that, but the advisors that have serious incompetency. So they're incompetent, they don't have the full knowledge, so what do? They sell stuff. They sell mutual funds, they sell an investment strategy, they sell an annuity. And when you look underneath, if you could be me and I could be with you inside of you, so to speak, in your head, when you go talk to an advisor or your current advisor, you would be shocked at what I could tell you and the mistakes that are going on. Virtually 99 out of 100. And if you think you're the 1 out of 100, I wouldn't go there. Okay. I look at disaster, horrendous situations every single week. Not sometimes it's not every day, but it's virtually every day when we're seeing new people. But certainly every week, every month, we see bad planning, we see bad programs, we see, as importantly, not matched programs, investments, investment strategies, or investments, including annuities, that do not match the individual investors or the couple, families' goals and objectives, because that is fundamentally sound. There's too many salesmen out there selling something, and effectively they're incompetent. They got licensed, they learned a product, you come in, they know a little bit more, meaning you go into their office, they know a little bit more than you, they're good talkers, and what ends up happening is you get something and you think it's better than what you have, and you bought it, somebody sold it to you, but there's not much more than that. They don't get the tax planning, they don't get they may talk the talk, but they really truly don't understand how to implement and execute the strategies for minimizing taxes, for implementing the best approaches so that you can make your money last. Well, today I'm going to take a quick break right now, and I'm giving away the book Common Sense Income Strategies by Michael Eastham. He's a good friend, he's a good colleague, and he is a very good advisor. His background is he was a CPA, but for many decades now, he has been a financial advisor. Very good book that supports our thinking, that supports what we talk about on this show, and it's income, investing for income, and understanding how to get income, true income at high yields where you don't have to run out of money. And I'm going to talk about this in the next segment more specifically. I'm going to tell you some stories. I'm going to tell you about some people that have annuities and they're going to run out of money. And they think they died and went to heaven on earth here with respect to their investments because somebody told them they're going to have income and they're going to run out of money. And on one hand, they're told, oh, you won't lose any money. But what happens is they're not only getting income that's not keeping up with inflation, they're running out of money. Yeah, many of you have these kind of annuities, and you were sold effectively down the river. And many of you need an annuity checkup or just simply an investment checkup. So anyway, let's get back to the book. I'm giving away the book today, Common Sense Income Strategies. Common Sense Income Strategies by Michael Eastham. A simple step-by-step way to maximize your retirement income and your retirement money. Great book, and I would encourage you to give us a call on 225-831-1394. That's 225-831-1394. That's our office line. You can call us between 8 and 5. I'd say it's probably better. Most people get in the office before 8, and we tend to even be here after 5. But it's probably, I would say, 8:15, 8:30, so that we're giving you the best attention. But you can call anytime. As well as maybe call by 4:30. I'll say 8:30 to 4:30, even though we're in the office before and after, as I'm saying. And if you're driving and maybe you're thinking about this right now, you can call us on our toll-free number 24/7 365. Okay, that number is 1-833-974-1833. That's 1-833-974-1833. That's a toll-free number, and there is an associate. We outsource this, so it's not our office. Obviously, I would think, we don't have people working 24 hours a day, so I think that's pretty obvious. But you can call anytime on that toll-free number, 1-833-974-1833, and we're happy to get the book right out to you if you're requesting that. Or and I should say, and or, if you would like to speak with me off air, I'm happy to talk with you personally by phone, by Zoom, or if you like to come into our office here on Bluebonnet Boulevard. Now, by the way, I'm going to take the opportunity to say that I just purchased a new office building. We're going to be on Jefferson Highway, close to I-12, so it's only about 3/4 of a mile from us right now. We need to keep up with our clients and make sure that the support staff is there. So it's a good strategic move. We're still here on Bluebonnet, so those of you that are clients, perhaps listening in, so don't be running over trying to find a new office yet. So it's even though I own the building right now, it's going to be probably about May 1st of this year, 2025. So we're excited about that. I think you'll be excited to come visit us there. But for right now, we are here at our current established office on Bluebonnet Boulevard, also close to Jefferson. Our other new office is actually on Jefferson. So in any case, those of you that are not clients, you may not know, but we are close to Jefferson on Bluebonnet Boulevard. And if you like to come in and talk with us, please do that. And talk to me about how you feel, how you think, how you've been treated, and are you really confident? And even if you are confident, I would still say come in and get a checkup. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, and they happen all the time. And whatever I tell you, it's going to be too similar to or very similar to what happens on a regular basis, all right? So you don't want to miss these stories because these stories could help you think about your money and what's good and best for you. All right, stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Thanks for joining us, or thanks for continuing on here as I talk today about salesmanship and incompetency. They typically go together. Salesmanship and incompetency. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how so many so-called advisors that are really more salesmen selling a product, selling some type of an investment approach, often are very incompetent. They learn a little bit, they pass their tests to get their licenses, their necessary licenses, but they are truly not studied, practiced, experienced, and they don't know how to put the true puzzle together for investors, retiree investors in retirement. You want to be really careful about who you're working with, because if you're working with the so-called nice guy or nice gal that effectively sold you something, whatever it is, and maybe you think, well, I don't feel like it was sold. They're so nice. I like them. I like the person and their spouse who I might have met in the office, whatever the case is. The question is what is the level of competency? What is the strategy? Does the individual truly offer the universe of investment choices or not? And are they truly objective, or do they truly have an objective that's about you? Are they truly thinking of you? Because a true fiduciary is all about doing what's best for you. There's many people, you may not know this, but there's a particular license that has to be passed to become a fiduciary. So if one passes the test, one can, and then they affiliate themselves with a registered investment advisory firm, an RIA, they can say they're a fiduciary. My question is, are they truly acting as a fiduciary? I know so many people that everything is the same. It's always the same. They're selling one thing. There's a lot of annuity salesmen that that right out of the gate, and they're really fast, they're really quick. You tell them you don't want it to take on risk, and in 15 minutes, you're given 3 choices of 3 different annuities with one company. Does anybody out there hear me? Is that you? I mean, this is so typical. I'm thinking about, I have a number of stories to tell you, as I said. A good story was a number of good stories just this past week. So when people come into my office, do you know what I start talking to them about? I start talking to them about them. I start talking to them in a way where I'm asking a lot of questions. I want to know about them. I want to know, what is their situation? Where are they invested? What's their family situation? Have they done estate planning? What's the income? Are both retired? Is one retired and one not? I mean, there's a lot of information that needs to be gathered first. That could take easily 30 minutes to 60 minutes just to get on the same page fundamentally or basically with the person, meaning with the investor. And so when people come in our office, we take the time like you would do if you go to a doctor's office. Do you show up in the doctor's office and you don't give the doctor medical history and you don't have to take any tests, and you go into the waiting room, not the waiting room, but you go into the room where you're going to see the doctor. The doctor comes in. He has no information on you. And the doctor says, okay, so let's talk about some prescriptions. I understand that you're not feeling well, or there's this problem. So I've got 3 prescriptions. Which one do you think you want? I mean, it's ludicrous to think about this. It's ludicrous. I want to say, I look at what we do here like I'm the doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't have a PhD. I do have various designations. I'm a chartered financial consultant. I do have a bachelor's of science degree from college. I'm very studied over the 40 plus years of doing this. More than that, I'm a certified fund specialist. I am very studied in what I do, not just because I passed some tests, but because it's an ongoing keep up with everything that's going on in the markets, not just selling some product. Back to my little story here with the doctor. I mean, I think you might want to think about that. You would never expect from a doctor's office, a medical practice, the ludicrous example that I just put forth, where you show up in the doctor's office and they're pitching, so to speak. They're selling prescription 1, 2, or 3. They're selling a therapy. They're selling a surgery. I mean, that's not appropriate. That's not what doctors are supposed to do. Doctors are supposed to heal you. Well, how can they heal you, help you, if they don't know what your situation is? You have to let the doctor know. You have to fill out the medical report. You have to let them do the blood pressure and the height and the weight and take the blood, draw the blood, find out what your blood results are, perhaps do some diagnostic tests, do an EKG, or I think they call it an ECG, perhaps today, whatever, where they hook you up to the electrodes, etc. So there are certain diagnostic tests that a doctor should be giving any patient to see what truly is your health, what is your status. So before the doctor could start to help you, you really want to understand what your situation is. The doctor needs to understand what your situation is, meaning health-wise, before there can be any recommendations. So if you have gotten slam dunked, if an advisor, back to talking about what we talk about on this show, which is the health of your wealth, the health of your wealth, and the health of your wealth management, the health of your investments, the health of your investment portfolio, the health of your income generation or not, because that's key, because the key is true income generation, like how I'm giving away this book today, Common Sense Income Strategies by Michael Eastham, and you can call us on 225-831-1394 and get a copy of it, or if you like to talk to me off air. But the whole message right now here in this segment is don't get caught up in a situation where somebody's selling you something and you just bought something and you think it's good, you think it's better, maybe it's not as got as much risk, meaning that you say, hey, I'm retired or I'm in retirement, I want less risk, and somebody gives you, well, now we're not doing 60-40 in stocks, we're going to flip it to 40-60, where 40% are in stocks and 60% are in bonds, as opposed to you were 60% in stocks before and 40% in bonds, and you don't even realize you're not in stocks and bonds, you're in mutual funds that own the bonds and the stocks, and you don't own the stocks or the bonds, you own the shares of the fund. And so many people with respect to mutual funds don't realize that 80-90% of mutual funds over time in a 20-year study typically underperform the Standard & Poor's 500 index. It's horrendous. They have fees. Mutual funds are not effective normally for high yields, high income. It's not how to get income. It's a growth play. So many of you have been sold the mutual fund strategy, and you think there's good and great things going on because, oh, I changed my allocation and I'm with Vanguard and I'm with T. Rowe Price, I'm with Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, whatever name you think is a big name, Voya, et cetera, all these names that people see and watch on TV, and you think, oh, I'm okay therefore. No, I would say probably not. And why would I say that? I can say that because I know the Drew Pelton survey here. When I see people come into my office and they show me what they have, I can speak like this. I'm speaking from experience. Most people come into my office with investments that need a lot of help, which means you, the investor, needs a lot of help. Are you truly getting the income, the residual, reliable, dependable, renewable income you need to live the life you want to live? Or are you too much at risk? And if markets go down, when they go down at some point, even if Donald Trump carries the day here for the next 4 years, maybe J.D. Vance will become the next president after. We don't know any of this right now. Whatever the situation may be, at some point, markets are not going to hold up. We're on a 15-year run, effectively, because 2009 was when the housing crisis and Great Recession hit bottom, and then markets started coming back up. It wasn't a straight line perfectly, but generally speaking, we've been in a secular bull run since 2009. And many of you are very singularly, myopically focused on thinking, oh, I'm okay, I'm good, everything's wonderful, look at, the life is wonderful, and you're caught up in the same tech bubble boom that happened back in the 90s, just call it generally speaking, late 80s, 1990 through 2000 before the bubble burst. And so many people get caught up in the hype, and they're not balanced. When you're working, you can take on a lot more risk, but when you're not working, most people tell me they want to be more conservative. Most people tell me in retirement that preservation is key to them, that they want to preserve their money, they certainly want to grow it, and they need income. Well, I can tell you, income investing, when you have a true reliable income approach that's 5 to 7% in income and yields and dividends from stocks and interest from bond or bond-like instruments, or I'll say for those of you that like annuities, even with your annuities, you need to have that fundamentally sound income approach, and that will, generally speaking, give you the security of your principal and will also give you some growth. And you need somebody helping you that can manage things. Let me tell you what I see so often. for a second here. I'm going to do a little annuity bashing. Now, that does not mean that I don't like annuities, and this is not about whether I like them or not. I'll tell you what I like. I like what works for anybody. Sometimes people want annuities, they need annuities. It's not about categorically throwing all annuities out of the window or categorically throwing all securities or investments in the stock market out of the window. You have to know what works, and it has to be tailored. Well, what works? In retirement, what works is high yields, high dividends, high interest. So back to the annuity story. I get so many people that come into my office and they've been snookered, bamboozled, and sold down the river, in my opinion, where somebody has said to them, I'm giving you 30%, 32%. Let me tell you two companies right now. And by the way, I have in the past had to work with them, and I say had to because it was what the client needed, wanted, etc. It's not what I don't do salesmanship. I do fiduciary sound investing. So there's two companies right now, and I'm working with a couple of people right now that have effectively been sold down the river, bamboozled with the nationwide story of 30+% in a bonus, or Allianz does that very often. It's not about nationwide. It's not about Allianz. Again, they're two big names, and everybody thinks, oh, I'm with a big name, so therefore I'm okay. Well, this is a very imbalanced program. When somebody gives you 32% or 30% or 22%, like the Allianz 222, again, I'm not picking on the companies. I'm not picking, because in some cases they may work. But I see so many people where when you say to them, I had a lady come in the office and she told me she got 32%, I believe is what she told me, or 33%. I forgot what the bonus was when she got the program. And I said to her, do you know that that's not the real money? And she looked at me. Let me say that again. I said to her, that is not the real money. She stopped. She looked at me like, go ahead, keep talking. And I said, the next thing I said was I asked a question. I said, who can give anybody on this planet 30% real money? Let's just take $100,000. Hi, I'm going to invest $100,000 in some annuity. And somebody, not me, tells you, oh, I'm going to give you 30% or 32% or whatever the number is. Okay, and I mean, do you believe that? Do you think that they can do that? I mean, how could they do that? Now, there are some reasonable bonus programs, but here's not only do they not give you that money, now I can hear some advisor listening and, oh yeah, we do give it to them. Baloney, you don't give it to them, because what do you think as an investor if somebody says, I'm going to give you 30%? You think your $100,000 turns into real money, $130,000, if they tell you the bonus is 30%. Isn't that the first thought? Of course. And I asked the lady, and first of all, she said, yeah, I can't imagine anybody giving me real money 30%. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how anybody could do that. I said they can't, and they didn't. They gave you the bonus on now let me slow down, the not real money. What is the not real money? It's the benefit base that you can't take money out of. Now, some of these programs allow for a death benefit where you can get the money out, not you, because you'd be dead. Okay, sorry to make light of that. But the bottom line is the beneficiaries could get the money out of the benefit base, but they have to take it out over 5 years. If they take it out in a lump sum, or in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, then they only get the account value. Now, here's the other thing before I take a quick break. Well, what happens is this benefit value inflates the number. It's effectively a calculator account. and it ends up beefing up the amount of money you can take out. The problem is, and I've seen this so much where the number is so big, well, where does the money come out of? Well, there's no money in the benefit base. It's just a calculator account. The money comes out of your real money. So if you're only getting, and I see in these accounts all the time, they're getting 1%, 2% in real money return, and then you're taking, and then you look at the percentage, like it may only be 5% of the benefit base, but that 5% equated to a lower number in the account value. And I know I may be losing some people right now. If it's, and it often ends up being like 7, 8%. I had a guy that came in the office 2-3 months ago. He's now a client. And he was taking out 12, 13% out of his real money. What am I saying? You're going to run out of money in these fixed index annuities because of this bad salesmanship and bad programming and bad advisory strategic planning. If I sound pumped up and passionate about this, I am. I'm quite bothered by the industry. I mean, I'm in it. I live it. But I'm here to set the word and the message straight. I'm here to tell it like it is. And you are the most important. You, the listener, the investor, are the most important. And there's too many people getting bamboozled, snookered by this thing I'm telling you about. And you believe somebody gave you this really high bonus, and it's not in the real money. You must understand how these programs work. And here's the other thing before I take a quick break, which is you can, in a lot of cases, fix the problems with true enhancement money, real money, that can get you out of these programs many times. I can't promise that for everybody, but it's worth getting a checkup on your annuity or any investment you're doing to see how well you're doing, because why? It is your retirement. It is your money. It's your retirement. It's your life. You need to, you want to, I'm sure, get it right for you. All right. Do you hear me? Do you hear my passion? Do you hear my intensity? Folks, I'm telling you like it is. Don't get snookered. Don't get bamboozled. Get a checkup for you. Don't be walking around where you've been sold down the river and you don't even know you've been sold down the river. All right, you can call us on 225-831-1394 to get a copy of Michael Eastham's book, Common Sense Income Strategies, to help you understand how to invest in retirement in a great way to help you make your money last, get the income that you need, and have the necessary growth to keep up with what? Inflation, and have money for the future for long-term care. You don't need to be running out of money in an annuity where you've been promised you're not going to lose anything. You need to know how these things work. You need to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right, call us on 225-831-1394. And if you would like to talk to me off air or get a copy of the book, either way, we're happy to talk to you. All right, stay tuned as I tell you more stories about how people too often are snookered or bamboozled, and you want to make sure that's not you. All right, I'll be right back. Run fast, run to the truth, run to an experienced fiduciary. I wrote on the board, I was telling this story about how this lady came in, she had just bought an annuity. I mean, as soon as I hear that, I bought an annuity, I think to myself, oh my goodness, what's the other side of you bought an annuity? Somebody sold you an annuity. Well, quickly, let me say, if an annuity is good and right for you, you don't want to buy it. You want to invest in the appropriate plan and program that's going to help meet your goals and objectives. And often the words, I bought an annuity, are simply synonymous with you bought something from a salesman who's incompetent. So I was about to say that as I was telling this story, and I know some of you may be joining in, and I'm talking about the difference with annuities, or part of the show here today is talking about the reality and truth about so many annuities that have these income riders where they have a benefit base where you get a bonus that is not the real money, that's in the benefit base account that you cannot walk away with. And it's not where the money comes from, it's the calculator account. And there's a lot of people that have been bamboozled and snookered, as I'm saying today, where they think that's the real money and they don't realize that that's simply a separate account calculating a payout that can be good, that it's a lifetime income payout if that's what you're looking to do. One thing I'd quickly say is, does somebody really know how to do a strategy? Does somebody really know how to, meaning the advisor, does the advisor really know how to help you, the investor, with the strategic taking of the money and RMDs, et cetera? Well, anyway, back to the story of when I helped the client understand that she did not have real money with this bonus, because the 30+% bonus that she got last year, and it was with Allianz, and I'm not saying anything wrong with Allianz. There's nothing wrong per se with the product, but you need to know what you got. And as fast as I say that, it may not be right for you. But the problem I have is, as I'm calling the topic of this show today, salesmanship and incompetency, here on the Retirement Income Source, and I'm your host, Drew Pelton. The thing that I'm talking about is misleading, that the salesmanship that goes on in the investment world is often got laced with it misleading information and misinformation and not complete information. Why don't you, Mr. or Mrs. Advisor, why don't you have the courage, maybe because you don't have the competency, to just say there's effectively two accounts. There's the real money and the not real money. And the problem is that they mesh the story, and people hear this, oh, I'm going to get 30%, 32%, whatever the bonus is, and they go, oh, this is great, fantastic. And you're running around thinking, and I'm talking about running to find the truth, like come to a true fiduciary to find out what's going on. But you're going around, running around, so to speak, after you get these programs, thinking, oh, I got 30%, I have all, and you didn't. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. Your faux account, some people call it the Disney account, the not true money account, the benefit account. It's all the same thing. It's not real money for you, the investor. It could be for some of these programs, as I said in the last segment, it could be a death benefit, but if you don't take the money, meaning if the beneficiary doesn't take the money out over 5 years, you can't get to that money. You're not going to get to that money other than it's a calculator account to help you get a higher income. Okay, that's good, but this is what I would say. You want high income, yes, but do you want high income that ends up depleting your true account value? Because that's what the situation is that these account values, or that's where the true money is coming from. So I think A and B, account value is the real money, account A. Account B, benefit base, not the real money. The benefit base gives you the higher number. The higher number is the number used to come out of the A account, the true account value, the true money, that very often is only earning 2%. Well, anyway, the bottom line is, after I gave the reality of what was going on, and she was saying some things, which included, I didn't know that, he didn't tell me that, I wrote on the board, fired. Now, it's not that easy to fire them because you just got the annuity, and it's not that easy to change it, but sometimes when people have it for a while, there's ways to make adjustments, and there's ways to do things and manage it, and often there's a timing thing, so you need to know that, but it's good to have a checkup. But I just quickly wrote fired. I mean, why would you be working with somebody that sold you something and they misled you? I mean, that's fireable right there. And I know people and they're quote unquote fiduciaries, like I was saying last segment. And they're fiduciaries because they have a license, they passed the test, they have a license, but they're not acting like fiduciaries. They're acting like salesmen. And why are they only salesmen? Well, they're in a hurry to sell you something. That's somewhere between not honest, not the best approach for you, and it's probably backed by incompetency because they're not true fiduciary, financial, retirement, investment planners. Do they have a designation like certified financial planner? Do they have a designation such as chartered financial consultant? You want to understand that. I do. I have that designation, but I want to tell you as quickly as I say that, that's not all of it either. We work with big names. Charles Schwab, Fidelity, big names, any of these companies. I just mentioned the last segment about Allianz and Nationwide. I'm appointed with both those companies. Why am I appointed? Because I'm selling those companies? No. Am I selling Charles Schwab? No. Am I selling Fidelity? No. It's not the companies. It's the advisor that you're working with that understands, and that one has all the choices, two understands how to simplify the categorical choices, and three, you're able to, the advisor in our case, we're able to put together the objectives and goals with the approaches. Notice I'm saying approaches. It's all planning, it's all strategy, and then you utilize the investments that are good and right for the investor, for them, for their future, for their money, their retirement, their life, so they can have peace of mind, comfort, and confidence. So if you're listening in on a regular basis, you know I say that because what do you want? People want peace of mind. They want their money to last. They want comfort. They want confidence. And that you get that when you're invested appropriately. And you should understand what you're doing. You don't want to just have some investment that sounds good, but it's not going to go the distance. Like one of the big things I'm making a big deal about here is that people can run out of money quickly in these annuities. And the same thing with mutual funds when you have low yields. I just happen to be emphasizing the not so good annuities for people. So I'll tell you another story. I've been telling stories today. So we have a existing client. They had a program, an annuity, for over 10 years with somebody else before they came to us. And it went through the term, and they're saying, and they just retired also, and they're saying to me, well, should I, they're asking me, should I just turn that income on? I said, well, if you turn that income on and knowing that you got less than 2% annual yield in the real money, and the same thing I've been saying, and you turn on the high income from the benefit base, which I figured out was near 8% out of the real money, that's the key thing. I mean, that doesn't follow the 4% rule. I mean, typically people will only take out 4 or 5%, good standard planning. But so then the person would be taking out 8% out of an account, and they'd end up running out of money very quickly, knowing that they only got on average, if it continues, 1 to 2%. This is not sound planning. This is not a sound plan. It's not a sound annuity in that case, and it's not a sound plan. So we see these situations and these stories, and you may be in this situation yourself. And the first thing you may want to do is get a copy of this book, Common Sense Income Strategies by Michael Eastham, a friend, colleague. He's in the Orlando area. His background is he's a CPA, and he's a true fiduciary retirement investment income planner, solid, salt of the earth kind of guy. Wrote a great book, easy to read. I'd recommend you get a copy of it so you can understand the power of investing for income. That's what we're talking about today, the power of investing for income. Why? Because I'm talking about that all the time. That's the solution. It's good to talk about and expose the problems, but what's the solution? Income, income, income. The name of this radio show, the Retirement Income Source. What's the source of your income? The source of your income should be from income. And be careful of copycats. That's the other thing. A lot of these salesmen that who are incompetent also happen to be the copycats. Drew Pelton, I saw he did this, I'll do that. And they're doing salesmanship out of incompetency and not planning, and somehow they think they have it right. I'll tell you another. I'm thinking about so many advisors that I know their names, and I'm not going to say it on the radio, but it could very well be yours. And I know an advisor that he's been through, that I know of, at least 3 broker dealers, and now he's on the Charles Schwab institutional platform as we are. And I see these investments, and it's scary. It's horrendous. It's terrible. What's scary, horrendous, and terrible? Not high income, high risk. Is that what you want as a retiree? High risk and low income. What's low income? Low yields. And it's a hodgepodge of investments. And it's like, yeah, I'm doing some annuities and I'm doing some assets under management. You're balanced, and see you later. And I'm a good guy, and I know you like me. I like you. But you got sold something, and all they're doing is copying names, and they do not do pure investment advisory work, pure fiduciary investment advisory work, which is strategic, and it's smart, and it's sound for you, because it's all about you. It's your money, it's your retirement, it's your life. All right, stay tuned. I got a short little segment, and we're going to put a wrap on this. Thanks for being with me this morning. You are on the Retirement Income Source podcast, or listening to me on the radio show on the weekend. Thank you very much. Glad to have you. Hang in there. I'll be right back, because you need to get it right for you. It's your money, your retirement, your life. You are listening to the Retirement Income Source. I am your host, Drew Pelton. Thanks for joining in at the top of this hour, or thanks for being with me for as long as you've been this morning. I have been talking about salesmanship and incompetency, as in salesmen and incompetent advisors are going to cause a problem more than likely for you, the investor. And too often, the salesmen who are incompetent or copycats just trying to follow what others do. A true fiduciary is a true fiduciary. A true, seasoned, experienced strategist, financial planning strategist, which means all choices are available investment-wise, and there's a good understanding, a sound understanding of all the moving parts. Pension planning, Social Security planning, required minimum distribution planning, estate planning, generally income planning, tax planning. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to retirement and retirement investing, and getting your house in order in retirement so you can go the distance, so you can have the peace of mind, the comfort and confidence to do the things you want to do on an ongoing basis. I see so many people tighten their belt, and they don't do anything because they're afraid of the fact of running out of money. That's the biggest fear that people have. If that's you, you want to take action. Don't freeze. Don't be frozen. Don't take unnecessary risk. Be smart in retirement. Don't get your head in the clouds because Donald Trump's in office and you think it's the golden age like he said. I hope it is. I believe he's going to do good things. But don't have your head in the clouds thinking everything's going to be okay, because not one man can stop a terrorist attack. Not one man can stop markets that are probably overinflated right now from crashing. We live in a global economy. You need to be smart, and there are sound ways to be smart. There's sound ways to protect your money, preserve your money, grow your money, get the income you need with the right advisor, the right strategies, and the right investments from the universe of choices for you that best help you and meet your goals and objectives. That's what it's all about. Wouldn't you agree? I would think you would. Don't get stuck with a big company. Don't get stuck with somebody you know. You need to understand the necessity of making the necessary shifts that make things work for you, where you are doing successful retirement investing. It takes a pro. It takes getting the job done. It takes winning the Super Bowl each and every year, analogously speaking. Thanks for being with me. You're listening to the Retirement Income Source. I'm your host, Drew Pelton. Be with me every weekend on this radio show, or find me on the internet on the podcast, YouTube, and I am sure you will get insight each and every week as I give you the best I have. I'm giving it to you from my heart. I'm giving it to you from 40 years of experience. I'm giving it to you from working with thousands of people, and I know we have the right support with our 100-plus offices and the group that supports us. You can get it right for you. Give us a call on 225-831-1394 for a copy of the book, Common Sense Income Strategies, or if you'd like to talk to me off air. Have a good, great, and blessed weekend. I'll be back with you next week. Thank you.